Hello there, Seraphim17 once again, introducing you to my Dark Souls video walkthrough. Now that we've had fun in Darkroot, and I'm now leveled enough to use this weapon, you'll see level 33 was how long it took me to get this game-breaking piece of destruction. I am now going to be finding the loot in the forest, and when I say loot, I'm not finding all of it, I'm just going to be grabbing a few items that I think are important. I'm probably showcasing how destructive this weapon is, because from this video and the last, I've not progressed anywhere in the game differently. I've just used these guys to give me some souls and leveled my character so I can use this weapon. And the difference between the Drake Sword and this weapon is pretty astounding. It really is. It's like the difference between Terminator 2 and Terminator 3, only in reverse, because obviously Terminator 2 is a good film. A really fucking good film. Just like this Black Knight Halberd is a really good halberd. And it's also poking through the graphic right now, so we can see a lovely vista of a cliffside through the wall. But I'm not using the weapon, I'm leading these guys off. I probably might use it against this guy, because I don't like him very much. He's a spammer. Am I going to smack him? No, just trying to lure him off the cliff. He's not having any of it. So I'm going to talk about something a little bit different for the moment. A buddy of mine's just started playing Dark Souls properly, and when I say properly I mean actually investing time and enjoying it and getting somewhere, and he's having a tough time because on your first time through this game is hard. And yeah, there's the difference in damage. Look at that, two backstabs from this and it's good night. This is only level 1 as well. I've not even put any Twinkling Titanite into it, but don't worry, I will be. And my buddy anyhow, once my throat stops whistling because I'm a stupid asthmatic, is looking at various guides on the internet and things when he's in his spare time, you know, just to see what other people are doing, what other strategies are happening, and all that kind of good stuff, what everybody does when they're playing Dark Souls. And apparently he stumbled on the IGN guide, and he found something that really made him laugh, because he was on about a strategy to beat Quelaag, who, for anybody who hasn't played, she's the boss guarding the second bell. She's kind of like a giant lava spider with a lady on top of her with the tits out. She's not the toughest of bosses, but early on, and if you're inexperienced, she can definitely do a lot of damage to you, and she's very intimidating to look at, even though she does have, you know, the aforementioned tits out. And this guide, no word of a lie, from IGN... Oh, by the way, do you see these two guys here? That guy on the right is the invisible dude with the claymore, who I mentioned we'd killed before. So I don't know if it's just a second version of this guy or if he respawns once. And to his left is a lady called Faris, who is an archer. She drops a unique bow and an interesting hat, which, if the hat sat lower down on the character's head, I would use it because it reminds me of Vampire Hunter D. But it doesn't, and instead you just look like a massive twat. But this strategy to beat Quelaag, the IGN put their name on and put on their, you know, fucking well-funded site with partners and, you know, this hallmark of quality, was literally this statement: when you have two people using magic against Quelaag, it's easy for you to go in with your melee weapon and deal some damage. Which is them advocating a 3v1 situation against the second main boss of the game. 3v1 against Quelaag. It's like, there's people who have beaten Quelaag, you know, with base equipment level 1 with no overpowered items. There's a bunch of people that have done soul level 1 playthroughs. Like, I've got recorded footage of custom builds beating Quelaag without being hit and shit like that. And IGN's doing the whole, well, if you've got two buddies firing magic spells while you go in there with your sword, you're gonna have a good time. And who the fuck does that help? Who is this player who's not good at this game, who's going to IGN as a salvation, and they're telling this person to enlist two randoms to help them kill a boss? That's not teaching you anything. That's not getting you better at the game. That's teaching you that you can use overpowered people to beat your strategies. It's like, to solve your problems, get a gun and wave it in a crowded area. It's just fucking stupid. And this is a website that I would love to work for, but, you know, realistically I probably never will, because I have something called integrity. And that is just madness to me. But I thought it was really funny, so I had to share it with you guys, because it became kind of like the quote of the night when I was talking to my buddies. So every time something happened, we would quote that sentence as an excuse, and it just tickled me. But right there, I think I just got the Eastern armor set, which the torso piece of this armor is one of the best looking torsos on the game, and the main reason is it has Judge Dredd's shoulder pads, and I really love me some shoulder pads. In the next Soul game, I want more shoulder pads, customizable shoulder pads, and I want capes. That's all I want. Give me a lovely flowing cape from a dynamite pair of shoulder pads. Like, that's all I need, because it's just cool, man. It's really cool. And also, if you take your gloves off of your character while you wear the Eastern armor, it gives it better sleeves, because no matter what gloves you put on when you wear it, it seems to always have his elbows out, and when you're running around as a pepperami man, it's a little bit unsightly if you like your character to look anything less than like a piece of dog shit. But like I said, this is me looting the forest. I'm probably going to get the Hornet Ring. I'm probably going to show you where the stone armor is, and unfortunately I'm showing you this quite a lot, so I do apologise for anybody who wanted pure original content in this video, but this is the quickest way to get rid of these morons. Even though I should really be showing you this majestic weapon. And I don't know why my pronunciation went tits up then, but the human brain is a strange piece of apparatus at times. But Spammy McSpam is doing his usual thing as Mr. Crazy comes and jumps off the edge, Mel Gibson style. And I'm probably going to smack this guy because he annoys me. Yeah, I'm going for the no lock on backstab. And he got up pretty quick then. That was a pretty quick recovery. He's going to try and get away from me to fire spells. That's what he does. Oh no, he changed to his sword. Parried. Good night, son. But the things to note in this place, you can find an ember. I think it's a magic ember or an enchanted ember, but it's guarded by 2 giant mushroom men. And you're probably thinking, mushroom men, that sounds a bit effeminate or stupid. And it kind of is, but they're really, really tough. So do not underestimate the mushroom men. But if you turn a left over this area, there's a chest that's well hidden. And this is the stone armor, which is one of the first real heavy armor sets in the game that gives you a significant amount of poise. And poise is I cannot say statistic today. My words just trip up on it. So I'm going to say stat. Stat is quicker, it's easier, the enunciation is much more fun. Poise is a stat that nobody who's new or first starts playing the game knows anything about unless they've researched and looked into Dark Souls. And due to the nature of how this game is delivered, the game never explains it either. So unless you find somebody who knows what they're on about, or you stumble across it because you're kind of like a savant in figuring out game mechanics, you're never going to understand the importance of it. And what poise is an attribute given to you by select pieces of armour. Certain armours, generally the heavier ones, give you poise. The more poise, the better. Because poise, essentially, is the statistic that stops you from getting staggered. It's I've done it again. The stat that stops you from flinching when someone attacks you. And there are certain breakpoints with poise, which I don't commit to memory right now, which I probably should for PvP purposes, but certain levels of poise will enable you to take some of the heaviest shots in the game without flinching. And it's always a good idea to have a little poise. There's even a ring called the Wolf's Ring that gives you 50 poise regardless of what you're wearing. And 50 poise against the environment and the enemies is enough poise to take on pretty much every situation, aside from an especially heavy enemy who has a heavy attack. Like two-handed attacks are a good example. And it's something that is useful, but it is not necessarily mandatory. For instance, if you're good at evading and you don't get hit a lot, poise is not an important stat to you unless you're PvPing, because then it's important regardless. But for the normal players or the people that don't want to invest a lot of time, the best thing to look at poise as is the higher you have it, the more chance you can get off 3 to 4 swings before somebody interrupts you when they're attacking. And a good example of this is the Four Kings. The Four Kings fight, the technique I'm going to show you is a tank battle. I'm literally going to stand 2 yards away from him. I'm going to be able to lick the sweat off his ugly face as I smash him with the halberd. And there is no skill in this strategy, it's just mashing attack. And because I'm wearing decent armour, my poise is good enough so that if he attacks me, I can generally continue attacking through him. But right there is the Hornets Ring, and you'll notice I took a wide berth around the arena to get it. The reason I did that is if you go straight directly to it, near that grave, you will trigger a fight against something you cannot beat unless you are very good that low level. So thanks for watching, and you take care now.